Well, this is certainly different. I don't expect this video to do quite as well as some of my recent stuff, but this video means a lot to me. It's more of a personal thing. I've had many requests to release this kind of video, yet I know it's very much got a niche appeal going for it. This is my last gaming video. A final tribute to Pikmin and the series it sprouted. A final ending point from the series that started it all on the channel. Now, Pikmin is one of the smaller IPs that Nintendo occasionally plays around with. It's all about time management with an army of colourful plant-ant hybrids who are weak individually but strong as a team, and are essential to surviving on this giant planet you find yourself crash landing onto in the main games. Its roots started back at E3 2001, at a time when I was like 4 years old. Back then, I may not have known what a Pikmin was, but it undeniably changed my life. I had just turned 7 years old and my dream birthday present had finally come true. The Nintendo GameCube. Finally, I could play Mario Party 4, Paper Mario and the Thousand Year Door, and as my childhood friend recommended, Pikmin. Now, this game wasn't originally on my radar, and honestly, I didn't do well at the game at all. I never finished a successful run, let alone completed it, due to the sheer nerves of having to confront some new area that I was completely unfamiliar with. And once that bad ending came for me at the end of the game, I never really had the motivation to return. The arcade approach of trying for a better time each run through never really got to me. But the charm of the game before that certainly piqued my interest. Running around in a massive world, commanding an army of colourful creatures to tackle bigger enemies and carry ship pieces back to base? Something about it was just charming, and though I hated the stress of the 30-day time limit, it wasn't exactly a bad game for me to play. This character here didn't really speak, but his logs were deep and thought-provoking. The writing was absolutely phenomenal if you looked into it. It gave out about as much as you put in. So fast forward a year to 2004 and all of my qualms were answered with Pikmin 2. I mean, it was everything I could have wanted in a sequel upgrade. My confidence was higher, the day limit was abandoned, the gameplay mechanics were slicker, and the exploration-based gameplay was right up my alley. Something about it all just really resonated with me, be it from the expansion of the story with new characters and multitasking, the diverse array of enemies to discover and learn about through the Piklopedia, seeing how they work in nature or how to cook them up into pristine meals, or even the cave locations dissolving all of the stress I had beforehand and allowing you to take your time wiping out every single floor with treasure. Treasures that you can recognize as everyday items. That's just so cool. Add on to that the new Pikmin types and upgrades to make the whole experience better than the first game, and I was able to play this game for hours and hours on end. The story was minimal, yet it gripped me nonetheless, and whenever I met with my old childhood friend, we suddenly had much more options to play together using the co-op modes to really sink our teeth into the game. Though I found myself still preferring to just finish the game for its story rather than collecting every single treasure in the game. Nobody's got time to carry that damn dumbbell back home, and I don't want to go back into that submerged castle cave. You can't make me! Don't make me go back into that hellhole! And then everything stopped. Years passed and I grew up. I remember back when I was about 11 hopping onto Yahoo Answers and asking when Pikmin 3 would be released to very little news. But it did gain a bit of traction. I wouldn't know it, but even in 2007, I was somewhat making waves online about Pikmin, wondering what possibilities could lie ahead. More time passed and Nintendo and I had a bit of a falling out by this point. I wasn't interested in some Pokemon Black and White 2 or Super Mario Land crap. I wanted some real games, the stuff that really appealed to me. And of all things, an Xbox 360 had the answers instead. Suddenly I could play online as much as I wanted to with my school friends rather than waiting around for another mediocre game by Nintendo. That phase lasted about 2 years and certainly defined a chunk of my adolescence, but as I just started to learn about E3 through Xbox, I decided to look into what other companies were doing during their E3 2012 presentation. Oh, Nintendo do them? Well, what have they got after all of this time? Oh my god, this is it! Oh my god, it's really happening! There it is! And... did you see that? I've got to see a breakdown of this trailer. Surely someone can tell me more about that thing at the end. I've got to see it. No one noticed. No one saw what I saw in the trailer, or at least didn't announce it online. But it's right there. Somebody needs to get this out there. I know I've only made some amateur Call of Duty montages and playthroughs on a private account, but this is my childhood. I've got to set up a whole new account for this and get it all sorted, sign up my name.
That's right, guys. Pikmin 3 has left the station and is coming this way.
Suddenly, I was back to my joyous golden days. Pikmin 2 may not have been my favorite game of all time, but you can bet I was more than hyped to hear about its sequel. To the point where I would literally wake up first thing in the morning to record the next piece of a video.
It has been 20 days since I crashed on this planet. My reflection in the mirror is looking a little gaunt.
And with so much time passing between the two of them, so many ideas had slowly brewed in my head. What if there was an ice element? What if swimming blue Pikmin could destroy underwater chains to make a platform float up? What if there was a new flying Pikmin? All of it came pouring out onto this new channel, and unlike my Call of Duty montages, they were gaining some serious attention. Pikmin may not have been a series with a huge following, but it felt like I had collected most of that following for myself, which, for one person, is a heck of a lot of people. And for the next year and a half, as more and more content got revealed, I was right on top of it with the latest updates and speculation galore. It truly felt like the Pikmin community had come together for a reuniting hurrah for this decade-old series we all thought had long been forgotten. And eventually, the game released. I took it upon myself to record as much of it as I could and set up my next career dream of becoming a Let's Player, and I explored every single nook and cranny of the game I could find. The graphics were outstanding, the new mechanics succinct, the new maps and creatures bewildering, and you could take pictures at any point in time from their tiny little perspectives. And yet, at the same time, something in the back of my mind wasn't quite satisfied. It was great to have this Pikmin experience again, but it wasn't quite how I would have approached it. The game replicated more of the original game's arcadic approach rather than my personal favourite game's style. The day limit returned under new rules that were a little bit more lenient that made it feel a little too easy, whilst the arsenal of enemies felt minimal. Suddenly the vast library of Pikmin 2's introductions were lost, and there was no Piklopedia to learn of what new ones we had met. I mean, there weren't even the new Pikmin from Pikmin 2 in the main story. The game was fun and professional, but it was short, much shorter than I expected. I was used to Pikmin 2's 10, 20, 25 hour long game, not Pikmin 1's 4-hour campaign. This was about 5 hours long? I don't know. It was to the point where I didn't realize the final boss was the final boss. It was simultaneously a fantastic game and left a lot more to be desired. There was the challenge mode to spread out more content, but once you perfected it, you were done. And any DLC only fed into those missions more. Don't get me wrong, the game's phenomenal, but I think I found the build-up to it with all of the possibilities and speculation we had to be more exciting than the actual thing. Though maybe that was my fault for getting a little too into the hype and believing my own crazy ideas. Still, with Pikmin freshened into a modern gaming world, surely more would follow soon, right? The masses will get to enjoy this amazing experience, right? Except, the game released on the Wii U, a console dooming most IPs from the start. Just like the GameCube. Pikmin was snubbed before it could even start, and the marketing could never quite master what it is we like about the Pikmin so much. It's not exactly the cuteness factor of the Pikmin, you know, and any other appearances continued to not do it justice. I mean, don't even get me started on Olimar in Smash and his soundtrack backing, or Alf just being a skin. Okay, but we don't have much time to rant about all of that. Basically, very little leans in Pikmin's favor. And so, more time passed. I continued let's playing games and making trailery gaming content, and we all got a little bit older. Suddenly, eventually, in 2017, another game appeared. Oh boy, what could it be this time around? Oh, it's a 3DS spin-off, tarnishing the real-time strategy genre and going for a 2D platformer role instead, killing almost all creativity or joy from the original concept. Needless to say, it wasn't very hype-inducing, but it was all we really had. When it came to, we played it, streamed it even, and yeah, it wasn't very good. It was what it was, but hopefully it wouldn't persist. And then the inevitable returned. Darkness. The Pikmin series went silent once again. Maybe this Direct will announce Pikmin 4, or maybe this E3. Surely it's been enough time, but the rumors said it could be true. Oh, they'll want something for the Nintendo Switch. It's as popular as Xenoblade, and look where that expanded. Everything is surely lining up now. Whatever the mindset, nothing changed, and we all just kept growing older and older. As much as I try to keep the Pikmin feeling alive, playing the games again, streaming them with mods, anything, the wait just grew unbearably long. And that leads up to now in 2020. Once again, people across the fandom are going wild. The content is drying up, the Pikmin website is down. Surely this is the Direct to break down the darkness again. Personally, I don't know what to believe at this point. Each Direct gets more and more tiring to wait and expect something bigger, and I, as a person, have changed a lot between these games. At the age of 23 now, I've stopped doing Let's Plays, they were a dying breed, and my content has moved on to the far more successful movie content over gaming stuff. Even in my personal life, I've found my label of being a gamer has slowly slipped away. I don't have the time or the motivation to play around with these time wasters all the time anymore. My choices in games have become much stricter, and the games that I truly want seem miles and miles away. And though I've grown all the more cynical over the actual appearance of a new Pikmin game, it still and always will hold an incredibly important part of who I am. I've enjoyed so much of its time with me, from its upfront quirky charm to its surprisingly dark undertones and reach into other crazy potential avenues. They may not be my favourite games of all time, it might not be the most popular series out there, and it might not ever come back. But it well and truly changed my life. It was Pikmin that kickstarted my YouTube career 8 years ago, and though I've gone through many different wakes of life along these years, I can firmly say that Pikmin helped to shape who I became as a person. It's simply an incredibly important series to me, whether it gets a final hurrah at the end of the day, or just stays in an untold limbo forever. I'll never forget those days of being too scared to explore the new, to the cherished memories of perfecting every time mission, and all of the people that I've gotten to interact with online along the way. And though I know there are plenty of people who watch my stuff hoping for all the more Pikmin content to come out in any which form, the fact of the matter is, it just doesn't work anymore. This YouTube job of mine has become my work, and Pikmin doesn't pull in the numbers anymore after all of these years. In a matter of months, my sub count has quadrupled through movie content, and I don't think this is what my new audience would like. I don't even know if gaming at all would resonate in the same way. And I think everything Pikmin I have made practically sucks the series dry. From games to commercials, shorts to spin-offs, it's all there really. I'm still happy to be a part of this Pikmin community. It certainly is a nice one with progressive views and a welcoming, grateful appeal to it. I mean, I guess it kinda has to be grateful at this point. But I'll be more of a silent member going forwards. And if by some crazy chance Pikmin 4 is announced, that unfortunately will not change. I'll likely go crazy over on Twitter and stream the game a few times on Twitch, but here on YouTube, I've found more of my calling, and I've got to grow in that direction going onwards. I just take solace in knowing that there are plenty of others who can and do hold that Pikmin flag high in my stead. I, for one, will be watching in the distance, hoping for that day to eventually come like the rest of us, but continuing in my own path as time passes on. Ironically, it'll probably happen the moment I stop. A lot of factors do actually seem to be lining up right now, but the wait for it all has simply been too long for me. fingers crossed still. And if it doesn't happen again, there's always a chance I'll pick up that new Pikmin 2 mod to stream for a little while. Maybe one day. I'll let you know. Regardless, time's just about up. Here's to you, Pikmin. You may not be the largest or the strongest series out there, but you've united a community, and hopefully one day you can gift us with another arrival to band us together into something truly amazing. For now though, I'm gonna give my Pikmin content an official rest here. For now,
My name's Dazz. My name's been Dazz.
my name's been Dazz.
Of course, you didn't really care. You didn't really care.
You didn't really care.
And I'll see you in a bit.
And I'll see you in a bit. Oh yeah, and after all these years, I never actually completed my review of the whole series. I've done 2 and 3, but Pikmin 1? It gets a solid 62 out of 100. Here's the broken down score. There's many cool concepts, though the execution really drags it down. It set the groundwork, but certainly isn't the highlight of the series. And with that, Pikmin content with DazzReviews is retired. And hopefully Pikmin as a whole hasn't left us all behind.